some criticism around your handling of Reedy Creek, including from former President Donald Trump. It seems like he talks a lot about you lately. What do you make of those criticisms? And then, two, how much further are you willing to take it against Reedy Creek?
Okay, so let's just, first of all, this all started, of course, with our Parents' Rights Bill. And the most important thing about all this is that we won the fight about parents' rights. We won the fight this legislative session to pass great legislation that conflicted with the woke agenda, and we did not see any opposition mounted. And so in the state of Florida, our political process, I think, worked well, and it was not perverted by one very powerful company, which is, I think, what most people want. Now, in terms of the district, a lot of people didn't even realize these privileges. I didn't even realize it. No corporation should have their own government. No one should be exempt from laws that everyone else has to follow. You need to pay taxes and pay off the debts. And that's what we said from the beginning. The legislature helped bring that into reality by imposing the state control board. That was 100% consistent with every campaign promise I made, every speech I made on it. I said that's what's going to happen and we're going to move forward. Now, they didn't like that. And so they tried to contract around the will of the legislature by doing this development agreement, doing these covenants. And so that is what necessitated us to have to respond, because it's a larger issue than even just the self-governance of a company, which is not good. It's a larger issue of, we had the debate in the state. We had the debate last spring. We had the debate during the campaign, and then we brought it in for a landing in the special session at the beginning of February. And they basically said that, all that doesn't really matter. We're just going to do a deal with ourselves to exempt us from what the legislature just did. Well, that doesn't work. And so I think that what the board did to rescind it was right. I think they filed a declaratory action in state court, which I believe they will win, because I think that this development agreement was fatally flawed. But I also understand Florida law provides the ability to have these things revoked, because you can't just have some special district being able to execute agreements against the state's policy. So the legislature acted appropriately, and I think you're going to end up in a situation where they're not going to have self-governing status going forward. But make no mistake about it, the reason why the legislature had to act was not because of anything we did. It was basically born out of Disney's arrogance that they would be able to subcontract around the duly enacted laws of the state of Florida. That's wrong, and we're going to make sure that we do. And it's also just a case, look, we fought very hard for children. We have a fundamental disagreement in this state in terms of what we think is appropriate for children and what the people in Burbank, California think is appropriate for children. It is wrong to be sexualizing these kids. It's wrong to have gender ideology and telling kids that they may have been born in the wrong body. So we're on the right side of that. I think they've been on the wrong side of it, and then we'll see kind of how it goes forward. But the reality is, I think we've done the right thing to defend the folks here in the state of Florida. And you can also just look at the election results. This was a big issue. There was a lot of people in the chattering class who said this is going to be like a big problem in Central Florida. By the way, we won Osceola County, where most Disney employees live, because even folks, I think the folks in that region especially understood the arrogance that has developed over the decades. When you don't have accountability, it's just human nature that you end up doing that. There's a widow of a Reedy Creek firefighter. The previous district denied her survivor benefits because they didn't want to admit fault from the company. This new board, the state board, paid the survivor benefits to the widow, and she was entitled to that, and that's the right thing. Holly?